Professor, what are you doing down here? It smells like old wood and rice.
Ah, Sakura. Welcome to a piece of history. This cellar once stored hundreds of barrels of sake. Now it sits empty. A relic of a time when Japan drank 4 times as much sake as it does today.
4 times? That's a dramatic drop. What happened?
Sake consumption peaked in 1973. Since then, it's fallen to about a quarter of that level. On average, 2.4 breweries close every single month. But here's what makes the current moment fascinating. Even as domestic drinking declines, the industry is being reshaped by forces nobody predicted.
Like what?
Let's start with the money. In fiscal 2024, Japan's roughly 1,000 sake breweries collectively earned about $2.5 billion in revenue, a slight increase for the 3rd straight year. Sounds healthy, right?
It does.
But their combined profit dropped to just $62 million, down over 25% from the previous year's $83 million. Revenue up, profits crushed.
How is that even possible?
One word: rice. The price of sake rice, specially cultivated varieties like Yamada Nishiki, has skyrocketed. Some breweries reported prices jumping over 40% in a single year. Farmers are switching from sake rice to table rice because regular rice prices have surged too. Some breweries couldn't even secure enough rice to brew at all.
So they're stuck between raising prices and losing customers?
Exactly. Many have already hiked prices by 10% or more. But unlike beer or shochu, sake prices have risen disproportionately. Industry insiders worry this could accelerate what they call sake banare, the drift away from sake, especially among younger drinkers.
That sounds like a death spiral. Is there any good news?
Actually, yes, and it's coming from an unexpected direction. Luxury. Have you heard of Sake 100?
The premium brand? I've seen their bottles. They look more like perfume than alcohol.
That's intentional. When they launched in 2018, virtually no high-end sake market existed. 7 years later, their average purchase price exceeds $330 per transaction.
$330 for sake?
And here's the ripple effect. After they released their flagship product, Byakko, the number of new premium sake products priced above roughly $65 increased 8-fold across the entire industry. Average prices rose 20%. They didn't just build a brand, they built a market. And the profits flow back to partner breweries and rice farmers across Japan.
They just launched smaller 300-milliliter bottles too, right? I saw a pop-up at Ginza 6.
Sharp eye. Around $88 and $117 respectively. They're making luxury more accessible, a smart move during cherry blossom season when tourists flood Tokyo.
Okay, so luxury is one path. But what about traditional breweries that can't charge $330 a bottle?
Some are getting remarkably creative with digital strategy. Take Hakkaisan, a 103-year-old brewery. They hired someone from the apparel industry to completely overhaul their online store. Within 1 year, e-commerce sales jumped 300%.
300%? What changed?
Everything about the customer experience. The genius move was redefining their target customer as a busy woman in her 30s or 40s, not the typical sake enthusiast. They shifted focus from seasonal sake gifts to everyday products like miso, fermented soy sauce, and health foods. Customers came for the condiments and ended up adding sake to hit the free shipping threshold.
Using daily essentials as the gateway to sake. That's clever.
And they started weekly email newsletters. Before the revamp, they had zero email marketing. Oh, and one more thing. They're the official sake partner of the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Wait, the Dodgers? The baseball team?
They even made a special Dodger Blue bottle. You can't make this up. Meanwhile, down in Miyagi Prefecture, a new online shop called Miyagi Sake Market launched with 21 breweries and 388 products, aiming to make every single Miyagi sake available to anyone in Japan.
So we've got luxury brands and digital transformation. What about the actual product? Is anyone innovating sake itself?
This is where it gets truly exciting. There's a technology called Tomin, ultra-rapid liquid freezing. A company called Tomin Sake Company uses it to create Tomin Namazake, frozen fresh sake.
Frozen sake? Isn't that just a sake slushy?
No. Normally, sake undergoes hiere, pasteurization at around 140 degrees Fahrenheit to enable storage. But that kills the fresh, fruity flavors you get straight from the press. Tomin freezing is so rapid, it preserves those flavors without any pasteurization. Scientific testing showed it reduces off flavors by 75 to 80%.
So people overseas could taste sake as if they were standing right here in the brewery?
Exactly. In Singapore, 30 limited bottles sold out in a week at Takashimaya without any tasting event. Some customers spent over $650 in a single purchase. It's expanding into Australia and Los Angeles, too.
But what about tourists who visit Japan and want to bring sake home? You can't exactly pack glass bottles in your luggage.
That's been a major headache for years. Sake is heavy, airlines restrict liquids, and every country has different import rules. But Nambu Bijin, a 120-year-old brewery exporting to 66 countries, just solved it with a system called ShipAll.
What does it do?
A tourist visits the brewery, falls in love with a bottle during a tasting. The staff scans the barcode, and ShipAll automatically checks if it can ship to that country, calculates customs duties, and generates all the paperwork. A logistics partner picks it up. Done.
So the brewery doesn't need any export expertise?
None at all. It turns every brewery visit into a potential export transaction. That emotional moment of discovery, tasting fresh sake in the place where it was born, now connects directly to a bottle arriving at your door in New York or Sydney.
Professor, sitting here in this empty cellar, hearing all this, it feels like the sake industry isn't dying. It's transforming.
That's exactly right. The old model, mass production, domestic consumption, seasonal gifting, is fading. But what's emerging is more resilient. Premium positioning, global reach, technological innovation, and digital-first customer experiences. The question isn't whether sake will survive, it's what sake will become.
I think I'd like to taste some of that frozen Tomin sake someday.
I happen to have a bottle thawing upstairs. Shall we?
You planned this all along, didn't you, Professor?
A good teacher always prepares the lesson and the refreshments. You've been listening to Narrative Japan. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening for the whispers beneath Japan's economy.